Hello guys, welcome back to the video. Here's a simple technique to mix Afro-gospel beats from sounding like this to sound like this. Let's get started. So what I'm going to do right now is to send all this to the mixer. Okay, so make sure you highlight all of them. Just go to the first one, Control Shift L to route all of them to the mixer. Now as you can see, everything has been named accordingly. Now that we have everything arranged, so what I'm going to do right now is just to make sure that I'm going to highlight all of them. Okay, and then right click, give it a color so that it can easily identify them. All right, so that's what you want to do right there. Then I'm just going to split this. Okay, so I'm just going to split it so that I divide it. Then from here to here. Okay, and then I'm just going to give it a color. And there you go. Now the first thing I like to do is to highlight all of them and just take it down. You want to gain stage all of them. Take your time to gain stage. So guys, as you can see, I've removed like about -7 dB to all of them. So I normally like to start with my kick. So this is the kick. This is how it sounds now. And then let's go to solid compressor. All right. There's one for drum comp, but I love to use this one. Of course, we can use this, see what happens. More puncher. But I prefer this one. You can increase the volume a little bit. Very good. Now the next thing is to start with this guy. That's the amplifier. Now what I love to do is just to load in. So this time around, I'm still going to pick a solid compressor. All right. And then as you can see, it's much better. Then I'm going to add Valhalla, add a reverb to it. And then for this one, we're going to go with about 2 decay. And then reduce, add the mix. So here's before. So as you can see the difference, literally. So the next thing we're going to do is just to load in. I'm just going to right click and copy this. I'm going to load in this plugin to the base. All right. And here's before. Here's before. Then let's enable this one. Then for this one, we're going to pick black bass. And then I'm going to add an EQ. So I'm going to add an EQ to that one. And then we're just going to pick the bass. All right. So as you can see, it's getting better. It's getting better. So now what I'm going to do right now is to make sure that the kick is about 90%. I push it to 90%. Then I'm going to make sure that the bass is about 90% as well. I'm going to pick the same thing. So I'm literally using this plugin. So I'm going to use solid compressor as well. It's a very powerful plugin. As you can see the difference. Then I'm going to load in the same thing, just put it here as well. Solid compressor as well. Remember, it's the same piano, you know. As you can see, I divide it individually. Then this tenor sax, we can just, so for this one, I'm just going to pick, we can just pick the Yeza, this plugin. It's a very powerful one as well. So let's push it to about minus 10 dB, thereabout. Let's take a listen. You see that? Stay with me. Now, so I'm going to pan this like thereabout. Okay? And then let's go to the strings. Stay with me, stay with me. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to load in the same plugin. So as you can see, we are literally using one plugin on this muted guitar. Okay? And we are using solid compressor as well. And then I'm going to copy this reverb. I want it to sound, like in the space. As you can see it right now, let me just enable this one. Now, this is how this works. The first thing is, what is your major instrument that you want to hear? That's how you mix, okay? For instance, like me, I want to start with the piano, okay? Then I want to hear the piano very well, and then I now begin to bring other elements so that everything is balanced. So you want to mix it according to how you want the sound to be. Then I'll copy the same thing to the violin, okay? See what happens. So I just pan this one to about 30%, then this one to about 30%. Okay, this one to the right, I pan this one to the left. As you can see, everything is coming out, and I can hear all of them just the way I want it to be. Okay, as you can see it when I mute the strings. So guys, now since I don't need to put anything to the string, it's very loud because I'm still going to master it. Now this is what I'm going to do for the strings. So I'm just going to apply an EQ. And then I'll make sure that I take away the lows. All right. You can also do the same thing by just double click and bam. Okay. So you want to take away the lows. Still the same thing. Thereabout. All right. Now I'm going to take all the lows. All right. Go to this one as well. Muted guitar. This one as well. So guys, as you can see, I've taken away the lows, but only the bass. Make sure you leave the bass. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do now is to go to the drums. All right. So let's start to mix the drums. So I've mixed the kick. All right. Now, what I'm going to do now is to route all of this from here to here. I'm going to route it to a bus here, route to this track only. Then, we can just see bus, give it a color. Maybe something different this time around. And then we're going to shift it aside. So guys, well, we have that. So everything here, all the instruments is routed to this one, okay? Except the drums. All right, so we're still going to go to that. Now what I'm going to do now is I want to deal with the bass and the kick. Now see what I'm going to do to the bass and the kick. So it looks as if they're clashing. So here's a simple technique to fix that. So what I'm going to do now is to fix this, I'm going to load in what we call Fruity Pick Controller. Just come here and then you see. Then go to the bass, we are just going to load in an EQ. This one, I'm just going to say link to the controller then pick this one, and then come here, invert the signal, accept it, then go to the kick, this one. I'm just going to make it like maybe 50%. So now, so whenever the kick, so as you can see now, whenever the kick punch, it brings down the bass. So whenever the kick punch through, it brings down the bass at every interval, okay? As you can see it now, so it's much better. I love it this way. So that way it can control it, because by the time everything grouped together, it can clash. So this way it's going to make sure that, you know, it's giving room for the kick to punch through. Now that we fix that, so what I'm going to do now is to come to this one. Let's go to the clap. So for the clap and all this one, they are sounding very nice. I don't need to do anything much. I'm just going to leave it like that. They are sounding very nice. I don't need to touch it. Sometimes you don't need to do too much. As soon as you can, make sure that you have a good headset so that you can hear the difference. All right. Make sure you are working with a pro headset. Okay. So as soon as you see that those elements are very good, you don't need to stress yourself doing it. Okay. Because you're still going to master all of them and they're still going to group together. Okay. All of this one to a box. What I'm going to do now, the technique that I normally do is just to, you know, okay, I'm just going to have this one, and then I'll make sure I remove like -6 dB thereabout. So let's take a listen. Then another thing I will introduce is to our loudness. So I'm going to introduce this loudness meta to make sure that everything is on point. As you can see, it's pretty loud, -14 dB. So let's go to Spotify as a reference. So we're going to use Spotify. Let's take a listen again. As you can see, it's -14 lofts, but that's not what we want to achieve for the mix. Okay, take your time. So what I'm going to do now, since everything is routed to this one, and we've removed -6 dB from this one, and everything here is routed to the master. So what I'm going to do now is to load this guy as well to the master. So this way, I'm just going to take like 3 dB out of it or thereabout. Do you understand? Can you see that? Just to remove more volume from all of them, because I'm still going to master it. Here's the technique that I normally use that works for me. Okay, then let's load in this guy. So I'm just going to apply this to all of them. Yes, yes, before. Let's bypass it. Yes, after. So guys, the idea of adding this is to add more weight to the beat, okay, to make it more heavy. All right, so that's the idea of adding that one. Now what I'm gonna do right now, then as you can see, the loudness, see it, -16, which is too cool. Now stay with me. So another thing I'm gonna do right now is to go to the bass, this bass, and then introduce this guy. So for this one, I'm going to reset all of this into 0. So here's before. So what I'm going to do, what I need actually here is to is the bass. I don't need every other thing, just to make the bass more heavy. Okay, I'm going to make it like that, and yes, after. Before. I'm sure you can hear the difference. So make sure you are using headsets so that you can listen to everything. Okay, so I'm going to leave it right there. All right. So, and then now that we mix everything, as you can see, I don't really do much with the fill, the hi-hats. So I'm going to reset the fill, or this one. I'm going to reset it. Okay, now let's increase the volume of the conga. I want to hear the conga this time around. you can see it, that's what I want to hear right there, and I love that. I love what I'm hearing. So now what I'm going to do right now is to check the loudness again. To me, it's still pretty loud. I'm going to take away -4 because I'm still going to master it. So awesome. My target here is -15. Okay. The integrated lofts, I want it to be at -15. The idea is so that I can have enough headroom. If I want to master it, I want to make sure that my mixes is clean as possible. I don't want it to clip. I want it to be clean as possible so that by the time I master it, everything will come out again. So that is the idea right there. So everything that I have here now, I'm satisfied with it. So what I'm going to do right now to export it out, and then, and this time around, because I want to preserve every little details in this project, I'm going to leave it as this. Then you can copy all this, okay, and then start it. So after this, I'm going to show you how you can master it. So what I'm going to do now is to double click and, to track 1, okay, so that we have it in track 1. Now, the first instrument I'm going to load now is what we call Ozone 10. Okay, I'm just going to load in this plugin. It's a very powerful one. Now, with this plugin, I can master the entire stuff with this just plugin, but I'm not going to do that. Then at the same time, there's what you call assistant. I can use the AI assistant to even master it for me, but I'm not going to do that. There's a simple technique I want to achieve in this one. All right. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete. I don't need this one. The mastering, I'm going to mute it. Okay. Then let's go to imager. So this one, I'm going to take it to be the first one. In fact, I'm going to delete this one. Okay. Let's start from scratch. So here's what I'm going to do. Now look at this wave. If I take it up, it kind of spread. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that everything is narrow, everything is close. I don't want it to be too spread. I want the bass to be in between. As you can see it, I want, just to bring the bass together so that the bass is in between. As you can see that, so you can see the wave, everything is now close together, which I love. So, but I don't want it to be too much. So literally that's what I need right there. Then I'm going to go to this one. Then let's go to the master as well. So of course, here's what I'm going to do here. Make sure that the ceiling is about, yep, I'm just going to leave the ceiling like that. Then I'm going to leave it this way. Here's what I need in this plugin. Here's before. Here's after. Before. Yeah, make sure you're using good headset so that you can hear the difference. Here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to mute this one. Then load in this guy. This one. So we're going to go with this one. Then make sure that you check the loudness. So as you can see it, we have like -11 lofts, which is cool. But I want to push it more further so that it's pretty loud. Okay. And we are not clipping. I'm just going to leave it this way. Here's before. Here's after. And then as you can see this plugin, we have a lot of things going on here. You see it? We have a stereo enhancer. We have this one. We have a compressor. We have a lot of things going on in this plugin that you don't need to touch. Okay. Well, without ozone, here's how it will sound without ozone. So let's bypass it. I'm sure you can hear the difference. As you can see it, we have a limiter. Once you push it, it's going to be very too loud. So make sure that you're not clipping, and then make sure you want to use your ear so that you're not clipping. Okay, we're just gonna leave it this way. I think it sounds much better and much cleaner to me. You know, when you are mixing with this kind of headsets, if you're using this type of headsets, by the time you begin to clip, you will definitely know. You will see the way it sounds, okay? And then by the time the mix is not balanced, there's a way the headset reacts. Just feel like, oh, something is wrong. You'll be able to pick it. But over time, you develop this. Okay, if you're just starting out, you may not really pick those ones, but over time, as you mix all the time, as you keep doing it, every time you get better. So I'm just going to render this out now. This time around, we're going to change some few settings. So because this is the master version, I'm going to leave it as 24. Okay, we're going to take it to 24 and then leave everything like this and make sure it's in stereo. And there you go, just bam. And you have it. I'm going to play it before we mix it. All right. Then I will play it after we mix it so that you can see the difference. Then I will now play it after we master it so you can compare and see the progress, the approach that I used to achieve this. All right. Now we have 30 different versions. I'm going to play it so that you can see it for yourself. Then here is on the mix before we mix it. Yes, when we mix it. And here's when we master it. Until the next one, stay creative.